You're good with the Flow radio station, Flow FM 92.7. It's 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. It is the 8th of October 2025. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's now time for the headline news analysis, where we come together to discuss, debate, and talk about the big stories that made headlines this morning across all major newspapers. So, if you have a copy of any of the country's newspapers that you flip through and then there's a story catching your attention, you want to pass comment on them, you're absolutely free to bring all of the conversation on the headline news analysis. So that means we touch on different newspapers and then cover some of the headlines this morning. To do that, please give us a call on 0807 777 9927 while we provide analysis from the studio by Nicholas Uwerunonye. My name is Adeyemi.
I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey. Thank you for joining us on the analysis this morning. Good morning to you, Nicholas.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you.
And how was the trip down here?
Well, cool.
Okay. All right. The views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. There was a story we were supposed to touch on yesterday, but time didn't permit us. So let's touch on it real quick before we move into the stories for today. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Danielle Fund, has expressed concern over the sharp rise in tuition and institutional charges across several tertiary institutions, warning that the increases ranging between 20 and 521% could strain student loan operations and undermine access to higher education. This is such a problem.
Yeah, a big one. And that will be the second time they are raising alarm on that same matter. I think about 6 months ago, they did about
the same thing.
They said the same thing, that there has been a sharp increase.
And they refused to mention the name of the university.
Exactly. And I did point out that, look, you need to name and shame some of these institutions doing this, abominable, shameful, conduct, who are involved in this conduct. And you see, it also shows that, this idea of just putting money and dashing money does not really help if you don't fix the system. You understand? The president keeps on complaining about giving so much money to governors and people not feeling it and things like that. So that is what happens. When everything, you have a problem, you throw money at it. This is what happens because you don't have a system that can make the end users get access to those funds. So that is the problem we are facing right now. You see, no matter what you do, in fact, no matter even if you double, triple, quadruple what you send to the now fund, the next thing the institutions will do is to raise tuition fee. But I would have preferred a situation where government meets every institution at their point of need. Improve on those things. Those same money you are sending to now fund could be used to improve the service system in the universities and the other tertiary institutions, so that there can be a lowering of tuition fees and the rest of them.
All right. Just real quick before we go on that, because it's a big problem. Nelford is complaining that this will deny a lot of Nigerians access
to
it will. Tertiary education again and again. How does this really affect Nelford in that light?
It affects them because the number of people, the number of candidates they will make money available to will be lesser. Compared to if they had projected, say for instance, that about 100,000 students will get access to funds. With this increment, they might just get it up to about 20-25%. 20-25% of that projected figure.
Okay.
So that is what will happen. But unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves.
All right. Do universities have the prerogative to raise tuition, or it must come from the NUC?
I'm a bit conflicted on that, really, because since it's a government. Most government-owned institution will always listen to the governing bodies. Those are the people that fix what will be charged as tuition fees and the rest of them. You understand? And of course, they usually, since it's a government-owned thing and there is a need to subsidize it because it's government-owned, and to allow for more people to have access to education, it should be commensurate with what people can pay. That is the thing. But you see, there is a lot of laxity. Well, there is a lot of wiggle room, for university administration to play around, to the detriment. Well, let me just put it that way, to the detriment of a lot of parents and students who want to have a tertiary institution.
If this doesn't get fixed, what's the fate of students who are unable to get access to
they don't get access. It's as simple as that.
There's still nothing to be done to them.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
It's also said that education is not, tertiary education is not cheap around the world.
Yeah,
Do you agree to that?
Yeah, I
All right.
absolutely
Now
agree.
here's my question. Now, if it is in that light, is tertiary education, cheap in Nigeria, or maybe that's the reason they're looking at it compared to other countries, hence the increments.
Well, that's a very tough one. You see, but you need to look at it. You see, the world, the people we are comparing ourselves to, have a better balanced, economy and system. You don't need to go to university to earn good living. You understand? That is not what we have here. You start to have a fighting chance to earning something decent when you go to schools in Nigeria. So that is just the difference. So it makes it imperative for you to go to school. You understand? So you see, when you have a high school diploma in the United States of America, there are plenty things you can do, social services, health and the rest of them, it's well taken care of. You understand? So with minimal amount, you can live well. You understand? Then you go to universities if you need to improve on certain skill sets, and there are loans available that you can pay for the rest of your lives. That is not the kind of thing we have here. So it is cheap, and it doesn't even guarantee. What we have here it is cheap, but it doesn't even guarantee you a decent living. We are talking about teachers in secondary schools, earning as low as 40,000, and not even up to minimum wage, in private secondary schools. You understand? So that is what it gives you, but it gives you a fighting chance. That's all.
All right.
All right, let's move to another news story real quick. The Minister of Innovation and Science, and Technology, Geoffrey Uche-Nnaji, has resigned from President Bola Tinubu's cabinet amid allegations questioning his academic credentials. Now, the resignation comes after a federal high court in Enugu rejected Nnaji's attempt to prevent the university from releasing his academic records in response to a Freedom of Information request. The decision follows the public disclosure of his academic details, intensifying scrutiny and public debate as President Tinubu accepted Nnaji's resignation and thanked him for his service.
I think the president is accepting resignation is the first step. The second step is to order that he should be arrested and proved and probably sent to jail. Because lessons have to be made. It's not enough to just. Do you know what the man has done? He faked
his certificate.
Both the university
deceived a lot of people and denied, a
And
competent Nigerian getting that position.
And we are talking of a minister of innovation. You see how critical that ministry is. And not only that, he was busy lobbing blames at people. Did you forge or not? He's saying that the Enugu state government is responsible for his, and whatnot. All these claims about, that he went to school. Yes, he was actually registered. That is BA. Well, let me not use that word here. It's out of the case. That's not what we're asking you. Were you certificated? Because you have to be, apart from going to school, the school will certify that you have been found, how is it put that learning and character before you are given a certificate. So what it has shown is that he was not found worthy in learning and character. So he put himself forward as having been found worthy in learning and character, whereas he doesn't have learning, he doesn't even have character. In fact, he didn't have character, to be made a minister of Nigeria. So this. And again, you see, I kind of like, one thing I'm going to give to him is knowing when to put in resignation. You understand? And this idea of he put in his resignation, that is honorable enough, but it's not enough. Because you have to go through the rigmarole of, raising tension and raising politics and all those kind of things. You have to, answer to that, when it's appropriate. And this is a lesson for a lot of people. You see, when issues like this come, this is no time to play politics. Once it is a case of something is wrong, let us say it is wrong and hold the person responsible for his actions.
All right. It was going to lead me to my, next question, because a lot of people, there's been so much, backlash as, to this administration. I said, well, you allow this. I'll take it back a little bit. Former Finance Minister Kemi
exactly.
Adeyemi, who was alleged to have probably, forged NYSC certificates at the time, resigned honorably at the time. But again, how do you speak to you? I just wanted to expatiate on your comment as to Nigerians seeing what is wrong and collectively coming for what is wrong, rather than put a blame on an administration or blame the president for
or
it.
even trying to
Because-
to prevent people from getting access to the truth. Going to court to stop the university from releasing your result. I think that is condemnable. And that isn't the first time, if we recall, that isn't the first time we've seen things like that happening. People have questionable, they have answers to, there is a need for, there are
questionable
questions,
academic records.
and they go to court and say, please don't release my this. For what? You were the one that put out those credentials in the first place. So now when it raises red flag and people want to question you, say, no, God, tell them not to release my result. What kind of... It's only this part of the world.
But again, who do we blame? Because this...
it's a value system.
No, hold on, Nicholas. Because this is a Nigerian, right, who was nominated and then obviously appeared before a panel. And then were they not proper scrutiny as to... this is where you're coming from. Your capability, your academic records, some of these qualifications. What do we do?
You're right. It's a failure of system failure at multiple levels, especially at the security level, because these guys are supposed to be vetted by DSS. So you see, I don't know. The DSS can't. They failed us in the area of giving proper intelligence in, banditry and the rest of them. Now we're having this one again.
Sorry to bother you, Nicholas. Let's take this call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Okay, this is Michael from Ilorin.
All right, Michael, please go ahead with your comment.
Okay, Minister Inaji's resignation, I think to me, is even late. He ought to have resigned because I want to give kudos to Premium Times for that wonderful investigation. It shows that we still have media houses that are interested in investigative journalism. When they got the petition, they first wrote to NYC. And when they discovered that NYC said, we did issue this certificate, they wrote to the minister that, this is what NYC said. Can you prove that? So thing. I'm sure he ignored them. At that point, he should have known that there's a red flag. Before they wrote to UNN, and private people in UNN then, they made mention of a particular registrar, that they didn't respond. Up to like 3 letters. They didn't respond to Premium Time until when Premium Time discovered that they've changed the management of the university. They now wrote again separately both to the VC and the registrar. And this time around, they got the results that they wanted. It's quite unfortunate. He entered the school, but he didn't graduate. And that's to tell you how low our institution have gone. He went through National Assembly. By now, we should have been able to automate all our verification. You don't clear a senatorial and a ministerial nominee without getting feedback from all these academic records. I think we should just find a way around it. It's a messy situation that we find ourselves. I mean, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, very messy.
Thank you.
Very messy.
All right, thank you. Well, we hope that I think is NYC saying that theses of graduate should be submitted online. Would that curb that?
That is another way of getting putting a stop to this nonsense that we are seeing all over the places. And again, ironically, do you know that when he submitted, to contest the governorship election, he didn't submit his the fake university certificate and NYSC. All he put there was his secondary school certificate.
Well, the Constitution backs that up.
Of course, this Constitution. So why not leave it at that?
Let's take another call. Hello, good morning. Hello? Please, you would have to call us back.
Try again,
the network is really bad. All right, let's move to another story real quick. The President Bola Tinubu, has formally requested the House of Representatives approval to raise $2.347 billion in external financing. The funds are intended to cover part of Nigeria's 2025 budget deficit and refinance maturing error bonds due in November. Now, the proposed borrowing includes $1.229 billion in new external loans provided for in the 2025 Appropriation Act and $1.118 billion to refinance existing euro bonds. The plan also seeks authorization for Nigeria's first standalone $500 million sovereign sukuk insurance issuance in the international capital market, as the initiative is part of the government's broader strategy to support infrastructure development, manage costly debt obligations and maintain investor confidence in Nigeria's credit market.
Well, this is a letter to the House of Representatives. Let's just take our minds back to when the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas raised the concern that about
That's not the only
Ilorin.
concern I have. Was it not a few weeks ago? Was it a month ago that the federal government said that fiscally we are doing fine. We don't even have any need for loans. So why are we going for another loan? Why are we asking for another loan? And when you look at that, the whole package, I haven't taken time to, dissect it, but more or less it looks more like trying to service loans, those monies, and that is where I have a grief.
Because debts keeps reoccurring
there
in the proposal.
So that is, you see, this our inability to be very consistent when we reel out fiscal narratives is one of the things that gets people like us confused. So at one point you said everything is okay, then the other point we are cap in hand asking for money and the rest of them. Now let us be clear, there is absolutely nothing wrong with borrowing. Like I keep on saying, there is nothing wrong with it. But you borrow productively. You borrow to enhance production. You borrow to finance projects that will bring out money to pay those debts. That is just it. So when you borrow to build so-called elephant projects, it's always going to be there, beautiful and the rest of them, but it's not yielding dividends that can pay back those. So at the end of the day, future generations unborn are put in debt. So that is just the concern, that we have here.
Let's take this call. Okay.
0807 777 9927. That's the number to call. Or you can also leave us a message via WhatsApp as well. So if you're not getting it through via the line, so you can please do drop us a message via WhatsApp as well too. Let's take another try.
Hello, good morning.
My name is Benjamin.
Hello, could you say that again, please?
I said my name is Benjamin calling from Ilorin.
Okay. All right, Benjamin. Good morning to you. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Please, I was first to make a comment about the approval that the president, honorable president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to wait for the House of Reps. So first, please, all this money has been going in. Why? As if he has not been putting the money in effective work or what? Because this is now. We cannot say that Nigeria is not, we are not blessed. We are blessed with natural resources. So why does he need those money? Because I remember before he entered, during the campaign, he said he never wanted Nigerians' money. Because now, this is not the first time he has been going money. He has been going because I heard that recently Nigeria paid off the IMF loan. They are not more owing IMF. So now, but he has still owing other people. But all this money is going. What is he doing for? Because after 3 months or some months of being the president, he bought a yacht. Now this yacht, they have not seen it in the Nigerian coast. Instead, it's in between Monaco and Paris. Now, not only that, Nigeria does not need a yacht. A country whereby citizens are struggling day by day. We don't need a yacht. Instead, we have refineries which have not been working. Use those money to make, because Dangote of recent now, we all know how much Dangote it took Dangote to do a new refinery. Now we are talking of the money is going. Now it's trying to enforce a new law tax, which is everybody's going to pay for it. It's not making sense. It's not right. Because if we are saying everybody is going to pay for it, even though the bricklayers are going to pay for it, if they want us to pay for this thing, then stop borrowing money. Let it stop it. That money has been going. What is he need for? Now after 2 months of him buying a yacht, they said he got a gift of the aircraft. Now, why did he not declare the name of the person who bought the aircraft? Because that was the same thing what happened to some David, which was he was removed from the seat because of what he said. Someone gave me a golden wristwatch because he did not declare it to the House of Reps. No, the House of Reps. They removed him from the seat.
All right, thank you, Benjamin.
Benjamin,
we have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to make your comment. All right, sorry. But again, we need to make a lot. We need to make a lot of clarifications here and a lot of...
thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thank you so very much. But again, like we always say on this headline news analysis, we will not give place for logical fallacies. Now, all of them, I bought a yacht, she bought a yacht, he got a... how can we verify the stories again and again?
It's not verifiable.
But again, he did speak about the tax. As a matter of fact, I think... it should be a conversation that we should explicitly, look at. Because a lot of Nigerians will benefit, from
the tax,
the tax bill, to take effect from
almost
January.
90% of
Nigerians will be exempted from
pay tax. Yeah.
So let's take another call. Let's take another comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Shitu?
My name is Shitta. I'm calling from Zongo.
Yes, Shitu from Zongo. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yes. On tertiary education, fine, education is expensive, all over the world. But our case in Nigeria is quite different. If you look at China, for example, they have more technicians than university graduates, and they are doing fine. But in Nigeria, before you can secure any job, somebody looking for a sales girl will be requesting for a graduate. And even you in service, if you are looking for a better job, somebody who's asking you that have you done your PhD. So that is who we are. So we can't compare ourselves with every other, because in abroad, even some people decide not to even further their education, but because they are doing well with the little they have. So the issue of increasing all these institutions, I don't know the regulatory body that's supposed to look into that. It's not helping our system.
All right.
And secondly, for the minister, regarding the certificate, I think a lot of questions. Who cleared this man? Because they need to undergo a lot of scrutiny before they say somebody is cleared. So, and my problem is that in this country, all our so-called activists, they just picking issues to be routing about. They are supposed to come out now and they say, even though they can go and sue that minister and the people that cleared him, but you can see that the atmosphere is a bit cool, which is not good for us as a people. So that is my comment this morning. God will help us in this country.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shitu from Zongo.
That also makes me want to ask, because of how cool the atmosphere is, the president thanked him for his service. So it's like what he has done isn't necessarily a crime or a bad thing. What does that say to other people who are also in this situation but have not been probed or have not been checked? There's been no reason for their academic qualification to come into question. But it's in question.
Danielle, I don't know how to answer that, because, by nature, I'm a very blunt person. You understand? But you see, it's a system that is very much from the top. When you have people who are in a position of, they have issues of certificate scandal around them and they don't come out to address it, this is what you get. So if he decides to respond that way, he has his reason for responding that way. That's all I'm going to say.
What do you expect of the president? Well, wait, hold on. I think I beg to differ here, because in a way, he's the president, right? And then he's an appointed, member of cabinet, and then says, "Oh, thank you for the service that you've rendered the country." This is not to say, in my head, I'm thinking, he might not be aware of his certificates, records or academic records, because he expects that there is a body that should check. And we're
saying the same thing.
He's just been nominated by, political bigwigs, from across the country.
You see, I've only seen the briefing of a local government chairman, and I know how comprehensive it is. When they brief you per day, not to talk of the governor or the president. The president knows everything that is going on, except he chooses not to know.
Or turns a blind eye
except
to
he
it?
chooses not to know. So to be the president of a country is not easy.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
You understand?
Yes.
I have been around, all these corridors of, where decisions are made, and I know what goes in and what I know how well informed these people can be. You see, the average politician you see that is qualified enough to be your governor is far more intelligent than all of us put together here. So they know what is right. You understand? So, but when things like this happen, there are lots of factors. Factors as in, I know so many people within this cabinet that don't have this, but he doesn't have a choice but to put it there because of political consideration. Do you understand?
I just want to ask,
because
the ordinary Nigerian,
exactly.
The ordinary Nigerian Sue is because of this now. It's asking a lot of questions, and we are here to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Now, with your statement, does it mean that people who are nominated submit their certificate to the governor or to nominees submit the academic records to a governor or a president?
No.
So if the president or the governor
I know
knows,
where you're going. You see, this is how it works. Now, the governor or the president is the commander in chief. He commands both the DSS, the police, and everything. So anything that is going to affect him, they will tell him directly. Now, let me tell you a story. I've been this by just briefly. Before 1999 election, do you know that the matter of one governor of having been an ex-convict was brought before Abdul Salam? They brought it before him. They said, no, look, we've had enough. They've had enough of military. When the civilians come in, let them
handle it.
So they have a way of knowing. You understand? So that is just the point. You see, like I said something earlier. I said it's about the value system. Our value is so warped, especially how people we put in office, how they emerge, is terribly warped. And unless we start cleaning up the process, especially from the voting, we've said all this is what of even INEC.
And
that leads us to the conversation.
Into our next news story. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has formally concluded his tenure as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, bringing to an end his second and final 5-year term, which was due to expire in November 2025. Following his departure, Mrs. May Agbamuchi Umbu, a senior legal practitioner and INEC National Commissioner, has assumed the role of acting INEC chairman.
That is the procedure.
Yeah.
You hand over to the next most senior officer, until the president makes a nomination or probably decides to confirm the person that is there. So, there is nothing wrong with what the man has done. Of course, this is not the time to start. I know over the next 1 week or month, there is going to be a lot of post-mortem on his tenure and a lot of controversies that arose from there. But for me, I think that the 2023 election did not clothe him exactly in glory. Because he said
you mean Professor Yakub?
Professor Yakub.
All right.
Because he said one thing, that is the procedure we are going to follow, and at the end of the day, he settled for something else.
But there's also another African country. I was seeing the story. Another African country coming to Ethiopia. The electoral marshal coming to Nigeria to understudy how INEC conducts election in Nigeria. So is it that we internally condemn our process?
No. That's not the point. That's not the case. I think that when they say things like that, how they present it to you, you understand, is complimentary. But Ethiopia might be coming to study the loopholes in Nigeria's electoral system so that they don't repeat that in their country. Who say that's not what they came here to do? We're talking of 200 million people.
Over 200 million.
Over 200 million people that are diversity. So why do they make? Let's go and see how they make their. So we don't repeat it here.
No, our own. Right, let's take a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Danielle.
Good morning to you, Toyin.
Good morning, Dayo. Good morning, Nicholas.
All right, good morning to you, Toyin.
Yeah.
Please go ahead with your comments.
Very quickly on the certificate forgery saga. I think I agree with Nick. The minister has done the most honorable thing by putting in the resignation letter, but that is not enough. You see, we keep having problems such as this because there has not been consequences for wrongdoing. So, like you said, I think he should be investigated and prosecuted if found guilty. And it shouldn't stop at that. While he was presented as a minister, he went through some screening. Who are those trained in? For God's sake, these are security agencies that find time to go through phones of young students on the road. And EFCC that we bust into an hotel, and so if they cannot do due diligence on an issue such as this, appointment of the minister of the Federal Republic of the country, then what are they doing? You see, it doesn't have to stop at the minister. The chain of security checks and screening, everybody involved to be made to answer some queries. See, we can only right the wrongs when there are consequences for wrongdoing. Have a good day.
All right. And you too. Thank you, Toy, as well. Because again, this conversation, doesn't just necessarily, according to Toy, doesn't stop at just the minister as well.
Yeah.
So, there is a whole lot that needs to be
Even in the
invested.
academic environment.
The academic environment needs to be investigated as well. So,
exactly.
certificate forgery is a big deal.
It is.
But
It's an industry.
it does appear that it's been handled with levity. If you check across, civil service as well.
You see, that's one thing, I keep on harping on. There is a need to have somebody who is clearly above board. He has the right, the moral distance to ask for something, some people clean around him. If you have a vice chancellor that has a skeleton in his cupboard, if they bring his attention to a professor that has cheated, he won't say anything because he knows there is something there too that they could you can bring out and blackmail him at any point in time.
All right. Well, I'm just going to take this Facebook comment and then we'll round off on the analysis this morning. This is from Dr. Mrs. Umar Libar from Uweri. She says, so this government is still not tired of all these borrowings. How have these borrowings impacted on the lives of the masses? The government has succeeded in mortgaging the future of our children through excessive borrowing with absolutely nothing to show for it because we're still witnessing a lot of failures in all ramifications. We can't continue watching these leaders play on our intelligence as if we're a beast of budding that should be seen and not heard. This must stop. This is time to hold them accountable. We're going to be unable to take any more comments. Thank you so much for joining us on the Headline News Analysis this morning. We'll definitely be back to your ears, God willing, from 8 o'clock to 8:30 tomorrow. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
And I am Adedayo Adeyemi. Thank you for joining us.
Here to
Past midnight. You're ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7. My music, my radio.
comments to share about the current situation in Nigeria. Your Go with the Flow station, Flow FM 92.7, has provided a platform for you to have your say every Friday from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Say it the way you feel it. Have your say.
Araba Radio.
Ilorin youth, stand up. It's time to level up, time to rise. Every Saturday, 11 a.m. sharp, your voice, your future, your time. Stay logged in, stay empowered. Only your Flow FM 92.7. This is Next Gen, where youth take the lead.
It's in the name. Get your coffee ready.
I hope you have your coffee already.
And cozy into your favorite seat as we dive into anything and everything worth talking about.
Whatever challenge you have, do you think seeking a therapist will be the best option or the last option for you?
From trending stories to entertainment, music, and so much more. Join Dio and Danielle, the Double D, Monday to Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the Flow Cafe.